Hey everyone, it's Matt at Renaissance. We're out here at Spilsbury's Mortuary, and uh, we finished this project on August 7th, 2010. And I've never showed you what the inside looked like after it was done, so I'm out here today to do that. This mortuary is in a little strip mall, and basically it's there. They conduct funeral services, and what they try to do as well is to rent it out for banquets and things of that nature, business conferences. So here we are. I know in the previous videos we have this ceiling, that this floating ceiling that we built, and I wasn't able to take any pictures of it while we were putting it up here, but I'll describe to you what we did. This whole ceiling was prefabricated along with all the columns, and what we did is I got about 4 or 5 guys from SOS staffing, and we rented a couple genie lifts. And for those of you who don't know what a genie lift is, it's like a mini forklift, and we rolled them in here, and the guys helped me bring the ceiling in. The next day we came out with the genie lifts, and I had 2 other guys to help me, and we had the ceiling up on a couple of sawhorses, and then we put the genie lifts underneath it with some blankets and lifted it up in the air, and we fastened it to the wall. And then these end columns here, we went and put those underneath and screwed them into some plywood tails that I had coming down. And then after it was all in, I put the crown molding around the columns, put the half columns on the wall, and then I had these recessed ceiling areas here where the lights are. And by the way, the can light parts there were sprayed with bronze metal. And I slipped these up inside these recessed areas here and fastened them in, so that way when we put the ceiling up, I had to crawl up inside and screw it to a ledger that I had on the wall. Anyhow, that's the bronze crown molding that I did. It's a foam molding, and I sprayed it with bronze, so it looks like a metal molding going around the ceiling. And those are the medallions. These are an epoxy medallion, and they were sprayed with bronze as well. That's what they look like. After almost a year, they look really good. When I sprayed these, I left them natural, so if they wanted to, I could come in and rebuff them for them to shine them up, but they look pretty good after almost a year. This is the platform that I made, and I have this in one of my photo albums. Ted Spilsbury wanted a podium that he could move around, and this has wheels underneath it. And this is the part here that I guess you put your papers on or whatever. It's like I've got some spots on the lens or something. Anyways, they're going to get a microphone for it eventually, but this podium is mounted to this platform, and they can roll it around. It's got some casters underneath that are real easy to enable this to move around. Then we've got the video cabinet, and what they do is they play videos of the people. This ceiling area, this is where they place the casket. So they play videos and stuff of the people's past, what they were like and things that they did. This is a desk that I made. This is sprayed with bronze metal, and it looks pretty good. I didn't put any coating on it, so it really hasn't scratched at all. So it looks good. The legs, I designed and made the legs sort of off the cuff. We were in a hurry to try to get it finished up for the grand opening. And then we've got the baseboard. And the baseboard, I have all these rounded corners on it. And these rounded corners, you have to cut multiple pieces of each piece that goes on there. So the bottom, the middle with the flutes, and the cap, there's probably about 40 pieces to make up that rounded corner, and I cut them with my chop saw, and they're generally fairly small, but you have to make them small, so when you sand it up you have to try to maintain the profile. So every corner in here's got about 40 to 45 pieces in it, depending upon how the bead is on the bullnose, and then you hand sand it after it's done to get that rounded look. So then we'll move on to the mirror over here. I'm going to see if I can turn some lights on. And by the way, all the moldings in here are all handmade, everything. The baseboard is made by hand. The moldings around the doors are all made by hand. I'm going to see if I can turn on some more lights. That's a 3-piece mirror. Here, I'll see if I can move this table. This is a handmade I want to call it like a centerpiece on the wall. They wanted something where they could put some mirrors in it, so I came up with this. And it's got the panels down below to match the cabinet doors. Everything is in here. The cabinet door and the panels on anything that I've done they're sort of follow the same look. And then we'll get a little bit of a close up here if we can of the dental mold that I made. Nothing real fancy, but it's put in piece by piece. And there's a lot of pieces in there. Took a while. We pre-finished and sprayed everything at the shop except for the baseboard and the doors to the bathrooms, which I'll show you in a little bit. This header here has some metal pieces on it as well. If you can see that. Those are bronze. And this is like a dark red color that they used for the stain. And then we'll go into the kitchen here, and I don't know what it's going to look like. If it doesn't look too bad, looks like it's cleaned up. If I can find the light here. Oh, that was a garbage disposal. There you go. I did copper countertops in this kitchen. That's the backsplash with a ornamental piece on it with some green patina. This is the sink, and this countertop is made out of solid surface, and then I spray the metal over top of it. It's acid treated, so integrated solid surface sink, so there's no lines or edges. And then I routed the edge of it so it looks like it's all one, like this countertop's been forged in copper metal. There's another look. And then of course the cabinets and the panels match the panels on the mirror surround and the other places in the mortuary here. That's the refrigerator. They chose white appliances instead of stainless steel. So that's what the kitchen looks like. So we'll head out of here now, and I'll show you the restrooms. One thing I did in the restrooms is I made all of the countertops with the integrated sinks and made some corbels, which are pretty cool. It's all handmade, and it's sprayed with bronze. So the entire bathroom countertop, mirror surround, and everything is sprayed with bronze. Here's the opening going into the lobby area of the restrooms. And again, we have those bronze medallions that we put in there, which are like the ceiling ones, but just smaller. These are 8x8s, and the ones on the ceiling, I believe, are 10 by 10s or 12 by 12s. Handmade columns. And again, we prefabbed all this and brought it in and put it in place. So we didn't have to do a lot of spraying on the job. Again, the baseboard we had to, because it's just too difficult to do it without. So I'm going to stop for a second and then I'll show you the restrooms.